When God is about to give a woman something big, she will see these signs. Did you know that when God is preparing to shift your life, He begins to stir your spirit, interrupt your routines, and orchestrate moments you can't explain? In this video, we're going to uncover 7 unmistakable signs that God is preparing to release something greater into your life. These are not random feelings or passing seasons. They are divine indicators that heaven is aligning you for more. So stay with me until the end, because what we're about to share may be the confirmation you've been waiting for, the encouragement your soul has been craving, and the revelation that proves your breakthrough is closer than you think. Let's begin. Sign 1, isolation for preparation. Beloved, before God entrusts a woman with something great, something that carries eternal weight and generational impact, He often draws her into a place of separation. Not separation to destroy her, but separation to prepare her. Esther, that young Jewish woman chosen for greatness, was not rushed into destiny. She was kept in isolation and underwent a year of preparation with oil, spices, and cleansing before she could step before the king. Esther 12. The preparation was not glamorous, but it was necessary. Let me tell you, when God sets you apart, you may feel forgotten by friends, misunderstood by family, and invisible to the world. But heaven is grooming you. You are like fine wine hidden in the cellar until the appointed time. A woman of destiny must understand. Silence is not rejection. It is incubation. When a seed is buried, it looks like death. But in reality, it is preparation for resurrection. Many women confuse isolation with abandonment. But the truth is, isolation is God's classroom. It is the furnace that shapes character, the mirror that reveals weaknesses, and the altar where dependence on God is forged. The oil of Esther flows out of isolation. The courage of Deborah is built in hiddenness. And the faith of Mary, the mother of Jesus, was nurtured in quiet obscurity in Nazareth. So if you are listening to me right now and you feel cut off, overlooked, or sidelined, hear me. God is preparing you for something so big that the noise of the crowd cannot be allowed to contaminate the process. Destiny cannot be rushed. Diamonds form under pressure, but also in the dark. Do not despise your season of isolation, for it is proof that God is trusting you with something greater than the ordinary. Sign 2, a divine discontent with the old. There comes a time when what once satisfied no longer quenches your thirst. Isaiah 43:19 reminds us, forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. When heaven is about to enlarge a woman's territory, God allows a holy dissatisfaction to rise up in her spirit. What used to thrill her suddenly feels empty. The comfort zones that once embraced her now feel like cages. This is not depression. It is divine transition. It is the stirring of the eagle in the nest, shaking up the straw so that the eaglet cannot stay comfortable where it is. Think of Hannah in 1 Samuel 1. Though Elkanah gave her double portions, her heart was restless. She could no longer be satisfied with secondhand comfort, because heaven had ordained her to birth Samuel, the prophet who would anoint kings and change a nation. That gnawing in her soul was not madness. It was a sign that something greater was on the way. So hear me. When you feel unsettled in a place that once felt like home, don't fight it. Flow with it. It is God saying, daughter, I am enlarging your capacity. Like a pregnant woman cannot be comfortable in the clothes of her past trimester, so too, a woman carrying destiny cannot remain clothed in yesterday's blessings. Divine discontent is the labor pain of greatness. It is God disconnecting you from the old so he can position you for the new. Many women miss their breakthrough because they mislabel this season as failure, when in fact, it is favor. The very frustration you feel may be God's invitation to step into a bigger assignment. What once was enough is no longer enough is not a curse. It is a clue. It is the sound of heaven saying, get ready. I am birthing something new in you. Beloved, do not mourn the old wineskin, for God is pouring new wine. If he is stirring you, stretching you, and making you restless, it is only because he is about to release you into something far greater than your history. Sign 3, a demand to let go of what's in your hand. When God is preparing to enlarge a woman's life, when he is about to entrust her with a blessing that carries the weight of destiny, he almost always requires her to release something precious. This is not a cruel demand. It is a divine principle woven into the very fabric of the kingdom. The principle is this: you cannot step into tomorrow while still clinging to yesterday. Ruth 11:16 gives us a profound example of this truth. Ruth, a widow from Moab, looked at her mother-in-law Naomi and declared with holy boldness, where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people and your God my God. That declaration was not sentimental poetry. It was a life-altering decision. Ruth was not merely moving from one place to another. She was surrendering her entire identity. She was leaving behind the land of Moab, her people, her family ties, her cultural securities, and the idols she had once known. But by letting go of Moab, she gained Bethlehem. And in Bethlehem, she stepped into the field of Boaz, into a covenant marriage, and into the lineage of the Messiah himself. Her release of the lesser gave her access to the greater. Big blessings often require big releases. God may ask a woman to let go of relationships that drain rather than develop, habits that suffocate rather than strengthen, or securities that bind rather than bless. He is not stripping you because he wants to impoverish you. He is pruning you so that you may bear more fruit. A clenched fist cannot receive, no matter how desperately it desires. The hand that refuses to release cannot be positioned to grasp what God is extending. Many of you are holding on to something you think you cannot live without. A relationship that has become toxic. A career that has run its course. A habit that numbs your pain but sabotages your potential. Or even a mindset rooted in fear and limitation. You grip it so tightly because it feels familiar. but in reality, it is the very thing blocking the next dimension of your calling. Picture yourself standing on the shoreline with an old seashell in your hand. You love that shell because it reminds you of where you've been. But just beyond your grasp, waves are carrying a pearl that is infinitely more valuable. If you refuse to release the shell, you'll never be able to reach out and take hold of the pearl. God's demand to let go is not subtraction. It is multiplication in disguise. Release is not rejection. Release is redirection. Beloved, if God is urging you to release something, it is because your destiny requires open hands. What He is asking you to surrender pales in comparison to what He is about to release into your life. And if you will trust Him enough to let go, you will discover that what felt like loss was in truth the doorway to increase. Sign 4, increased spiritual sensitivity. When heaven is on the verge of depositing something extraordinary into a woman's life, her spirit becomes unusually alert. This is one of the clearest signs that God is aligning her for something big. Luke 1:41 gives us a breathtaking illustration. When Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the baby leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. Notice carefully. Elizabeth did not need to see Jesus in the flesh to sense His presence. Her spirit responded before her eyes could confirm what her ears had only just heard. Her baby leaped, and her spirit bore witness to a miracle she had not yet touched. Likewise, when God is about to shift you into a new season, your spiritual senses are heightened. Prayer no longer feels like duty. It feels like breath. Worship is no longer routine. It feels like fire. Dreams become more vivid, more precise. Even your tears begin to carry prophetic messages. It is as though the frequency of your soul has been tuned to heaven's channel, allowing you to pick up signals others cannot hear. Consider Mary, the young virgin from Nazareth. When Gabriel brought her the announcement, she discerned it not as fantasy, but as a divine word. She received it by faith, and that word became flesh within her womb. Elizabeth too discerned the shift in her body before John was ever born. She felt the promise leap inside her before the manifestation came. This is the rhythm of spiritual pregnancy. The inner leaping precedes the outward revealing. Think about it. When a woman is naturally pregnant, the signs within her body show up long before the belly protrudes. Her appetite changes. Her sleep patterns shift. Her hormones rearrange themselves before anyone else can see the evidence. She knows deep within that life is stirring. Likewise, when you are spiritually pregnant with purpose, the first signs are not external. They are internal. You may start waking up at odd hours with a burden to pray. You may find yourself weeping in worship, not out of sorrow, but because your spirit senses the weight of what God is doing. Scriptures you've read 1,000 times suddenly ignite with new meaning. You begin to hunger for the word in a way you never have before. This is not random. It is not emotionalism. It is not mere sensitivity. It is heaven pulling your soul into alignment with its timetable. Sensitivity is not weakness. Sensitivity is the antenna of the supernatural. Those who ignore it risk missing their moment, but those who lean into it step into divine alignment. Sign 5. Pressure that produces perseverance. James 1:2-4 says it with a strange, almost paradoxical clarity. Consider it pure joy, my sisters and brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. The Bible does not say if you face trials, but when. That means pressure is not an anomaly. It is part of the process. Before elevation comes examination. Before promotion comes testing. Before increase comes pressure. God uses pressure not to punish you, but to prepare you. When God is about to give you something big, He must enlarge your capacity. Blessings are heavy, and only those who have endured pressure can carry them. The pressure you feel is the weight training of destiny. Do not despise your pressure. It is the prophetic announcement that God is trusting you with more. You cannot pray for enlargement and then resist the stretching. You cannot pray for breakthrough and then reject the breaking. Pressure is God's way of pushing out the impurities, burning away the dross, and proving the durability of your faith. So if you feel pressed on every side, financially, emotionally, spiritually, do not faint. The pressure you are under is not the end. It is evidence that God is preparing to bring forth something that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. Every trial you face is training you for the triumph ahead. Every tear you shed is watering the soil of your next harvest. Pressure does not disqualify you. It qualifies you. Sign 6. Divine connections appear. Another unmistakable sign that God is preparing to entrust a woman with something extraordinary is the sudden appearance of divine connections. Ruth 2:3 declares, "So she went out, entered a field, and began to glean behind the harvesters. As it turned out, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz." Notice the phrase, "as it turned out." From the outside, it looks like coincidence. But in the spirit, it is orchestration. Ruth was not just picking any field. She was divinely positioned in the field of Boaz, a man who would not only redeem her, but also connect her to the bloodline of Jesus Christ. When God is about to do something big in your life, He will order your steps into the right rooms, the right fields, and the right relationships. He will cause your path to intersect with people who are carrying the keys to your destiny. This is why women of purpose must pay attention to who walks into their lives in transitional seasons. Not every encounter is accidental. Some people are assignments, divine bridges God uses to escort you into your next season. Esther met Haggai, the eunuch in the palace, who gave her favor and instructions that distinguished her above all other women before the king. Beloved, when God is about to do something big, He will not allow you to walk alone. He will send divine helpers, midwives of destiny, to assist in birthing the promise. But here is the key. You must have discernment. Not every connection is divine. Some are distractions while others are God ordained. How do you know the difference? Divine connections add to your purpose. Distractions subtract from it. Divine connections draw you closer to God. Distractions pull you away. Divine connections challenge you to grow. Distractions keep you stagnant. In this season, you must examine the people entering your life with spiritual eyes. The woman at the well thought she was just meeting a stranger. But in John 4, her encounter with Jesus transformed her into an evangelist who won her city. What she thought was coincidence was heaven's appointment. Likewise, the people God is sending to you now are not random. They are strategic. They may show up as mentors, business partners, encouragers, prayer warriors, or even silent supporters. But do not take them lightly. They are evidence that heaven has aligned itself with your future. Sign 7, an inner witness of destiny. When God is preparing to place something monumental into the hands of a woman, he will not only send outward signs, but he will plant an inward witness deep within her spirit. This is not something that can be taught in a classroom, nor can it be explained logically to everyone around you. It is a divine conviction, an inner knowing that says, this is the moment. This is the time. This is the season. Luke 1:38 captures this beautifully as Mary, after hearing the angel's astounding announcement, humbly yet boldly replied, I am the Lord's servant. May your word to me be fulfilled. Despite being a virgin, despite the impossibility of the situation, despite the societal shame that could come with her condition, she carried an inner witness that what God had spoken would surely come to pass. This witness is not the absence of fear, but the presence of faith that anchors you, even when the evidence around you looks impossible. Sarah too laughed when she first heard that she would bear a son in her old age. But once Isaac was conceived within her, she knew this was not her imagination. It was God's appointed time. The inner witness is heaven's fingerprint on your soul, marking you for destiny even before the manifestation comes. Women of destiny must recognize this inner witness. It is that peace that makes no sense in the middle of chaos. It is that joy that wells up, even when the bank account is empty. It is that conviction that causes you to prepare for what has not yet arrived. As Noah built the ark before there was rain, it is waking up with a stirring that says, something big is on the horizon. Even when your surroundings suggest otherwise, before you see it in your hands, you will feel it in your spirit. That feeling is not fantasy. It is faith. That conviction is not coincidence. It is confirmation. And when God plants this inner knowing, no amount of doubt, criticism, or delay can uproot it. You may not have all the details, but you have the deposit. You may not see the manifestation, but you carry the assurance. And that assurance is heaven's way of saying, daughter, it is closer than you think. Beloved, Ephesians 3:20 proclaims, now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. Let this be the anchor of your soul. When God is about to do something big for a woman, he leaves signs not to confuse her, but to confirm her. Isolation is not abandonment, it is preparation. Dissatisfaction with the old is not depression, it is transition. Letting go of what is in your hand is not loss, it is divine exchange. Spiritual sensitivity is not weakness, it is alignment. Pressure is not punishment, it is capacity building. Divine connections are not coincidence, they are orchestration. And the inner witness of destiny is not imagination, it is confirmation. The God who began a good work in you is faithful to complete it. Amen. And now I want to turn this to you, my sisters who are watching. If this message has touched your spirit, if you find yourself in any of these signs, I want you to comment down below these words. I am carrying something big. Let the world know that you are not waiting in vain. You are preparing for destiny. Testify with your declaration, and may your faith echo like Ruth's, like Mary's, like Sarah's, like Esther's, until the whole world knows when God is about to give a woman something big, he always leaves signs. And before you go, remember to like, subscribe, and share to help spread the word of God. God bless you all.